Standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the booth. I'm your host, Damian Garrison. Back for another day of free agency in the NFL. As you are maybe aware, things have been going bonkers all over again. So let's dive right into it. Biggest news, Deshaun Watson leaving the Texans, being traded to the Cleveland Browns. It's going to be a 5-year, $230 million contract. Massive deal. It's going to be the biggest fully guaranteed contract in the history. Now, that contract comes with a $1 million 2022 salary. So for Deshaun Watson, if for some reason he gets suspended, he will only take a hit of about $55,000 and change per game he's suspended, versus his old contract. He would lose about $1.94 million, per game suspended. So huge news coming out of Cleveland, coming around the league. Biggest splash, obviously in free agency so far. Deshaun Watson finally returning to the game. So it's going to be crazy in the AFC North. It was already crazy with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, being in the Super Bowl. They're going to be back again. Now you also have Lamar Jackson, Hollywood, Mark Andrews in Baltimore, and now you bring Deshaun Watson. You got Nick Chubb in Cleveland. You have crazy potential for the AFC North to be jam-packed. Every game, every division game is going to be crazy. Stadiums are going to be packed per usual, as they should. So the AFC continuing to get loaded more and more. It'll be really interesting to see what the Browns do now. We obviously know that with the addition of Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield is going to be on his way out. Baker Mayfield just yesterday requesting a trade and it being denied by the Cleveland Browns. Now will be more than likely traded. He was not included in the trade with the Texans. The Texans did give away 3 first-round picks. In return, Cleveland got Deshaun Watson and a 5th rounder. And the Texans also got a 3rd and 4th round pick. So, it'll be really interesting to see. The market's getting slimmer and slimmer for Baker Mayfield on where his landing spots could go, what teams he can get paired up with. We know Indy needs a quarterback still, with them trading Carson Wentz to the Washington Commanders. So Indy is in need for a quarterback still. They seem like the best landing spot for Baker Mayfield type of quarterback, but we will have to see. New Orleans is also possibly in the mix, but they could also re-sign Jameis Winston. It all depends on what they want to do. So Carolina, they still have a shaky, quarterback situation with Sam Darnold. So it's going to be really interesting to see what goes down. It seems as though now Atlanta is probably going to stay put with Matt Ryan, one of the better, greater quarterbacks in recent NFL history, who has had his ups and downs over his career, but still notably one of the great quarterbacks of the last decade. Very interesting to see what happens around the league over the next few days or the next few months leading up to the beginning of the season, and into training camp. So for the Browns, it's really going to be questions as far as what other key pieces are you going to add now since you got rid of those, top picks. Cleveland has obviously been known notoriously for having failing seasons, unfortunately, but they've also loaded up on draft picks, and having top draft picks. So that's why they were to lose, give away, those top draft picks for a player like Deshaun Watson. Now, the wide receiver position, do they go out and reach out to former wide receivers, Odell Beckham Jr., who is still unsigned with the Los Angeles Rams, and possibly Jarvis Landry, who was just recently released? It seems as though the two love playing together. Obviously, the dynamic in Cleveland was not positive for those two receivers with Baker Mayfield at the helm. So now that has changed, do they bring those players back? Be interesting to see, what all develops in Cleveland. Moving on, during that Deshaun Watson news, wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, formerly Pittsburgh Steeler, is now signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. Still one of the top wide receivers in the game. He had, a fall-off year or so, but he pairs himself with Patrick Mahomes, one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Obviously, we've seen him do some crazy things. Matching him with wide receiver Tyreek Hill, and obviously one of the best tight ends that we've seen in Travis Kelce. Kind of not a surprising move that he signed with Kansas City. He's shown some interest in Kansas City, and with the departure of Byron Pringle going to the Chicago Bears, this seemed like a good fit. So it's going to be interesting. They also have Josh Gordon out there. I know a lot of people maybe forgot that he's still with the Chiefs, but so we'll see what happens in Kansas City. Another weapon for them to make them a more dynamic team. They're already very hard to beat. So we will see what happens in Kansas City. And staying in the wide receiver game, wide receiver DJ Moore for the Carolina Panthers signed a 3-year, $61 million contract of new money. Great deal for one of Carolina's most consistent wide receivers that they've had. Honestly, probably their top third receiver in their history. Obviously, most notably Steve Smith as their top receiver of all time. But Carolina locking up DJ Moore out of the University of Maryland. So now Carolina really just has to get the quarterback situation under control. You have Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore. You still have Christian McCaffrey. I know there were some concerns with Christian McCaffrey maybe not retaining with the Carolina Panthers, but it seems so far he stayed put. So it seems like that is going to remain the same for staying now. In Carolina, they had really one of the quiet but productive free agencies as far as their acquisitions. With DJ Moore, they signed a couple safeties. They re-signed a couple defensive players. They also get Johnny Hekker from the LA Rams, the defending Super Bowl champion. So kind of a surprising move for the LA Rams to move on from Johnny Hekker, since he has been probably one of the best, if not the best punter in the league. But that just tells us that the LA Rams clearly have their eyes set on another player at that position. It could be the San Diego State standout, Matt Araiza. Sorry if I butchered that. But standout punter out of San Diego State. Dude is an absolute stud. He's an absolute athlete. If anybody's seen his highlights from San Diego State, he has tons of punts going between 60 and 80 yards. He kicked the 80-yard punt at the combine, and he's landing them between about the 1 to 10 yard line. So he showed out there. He also ran about a 4.68 40-yard dash. So they're projecting him to go as high as the 3rd round, which is very, very high for a punter, as most people would know. So either LA Rams are going to probably look to try to draft him, obviously as late as possible, but they could also maybe look in free agency for another punter, but they're not going to get anybody as high as that caliber right now in the game. So stay tuned on that. We'll see what Carolina craziness. Austin Hooper, the former Cleveland Brown, is signing a deal with the Tennessee Titans, pairing him with quarterback Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry in that offense down there. So that is some news as well. And also Fletcher Cox, the standout defensive lineman, one of the best in the game, intends to sign a 1-year deal back with Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Eagles, pending, because a lot of players have been flipping lately. So we will see what happens with that. But as long as negotiations and everything go well, actually official, Fletcher Cox back in Philadelphia. Crazy to see right now. It seems like the AFC, as far as competition, is completely lopsided compared to the NFC. I mean, quarterbacks we got, in the AFC. Totally didn't even mention Russell Wilson at the Denver Broncos now. That's going to be really interesting to see how that develops. They got Jerry Jeudy out there. They have Melvin Gordon. They have a great defense out there. Got Bradley Chubb. it's going to be crazy. This season, 2022 season, is going to be unlike no other. We'll never forget this 2022 free agency, because there was no other free agency within the last 10, 15 years that has been as chaotic, as crazy, and as far as the amount of deals and the attention that it's getting money-wise. This is just pure entertainment. So this is fun for me. It's fun for the people. It's fun for the viewers. This is also why I started doing this. I love sports and I love talking about sports. So I appreciate any feedback that I get on my page. Please, hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to my channel. This is going to be my second video in 2 days. So I'm going to be consistently posting videos as much as I can. Obviously, with as much up-to-date news, to give you guys as I can. So please like, subscribe, comment. Down below, I'm going to put in my Twitter name, which is @DamoWhatUp, DamoWaddup. And my Instagram name is King_Damo25. Follow those. I'm also on TikTok at KingDamo_. So yeah, stay tuned for more content. The Booth, Damian Garrison, out.
I say right foot creep, oh, walking with that heater. Look around, stay low, make sure they don't see you. Catch some bad, walk down.